I think you have taken all the inputs. Okay. ఫస్ట్ మీరు ఏదన్నా ప్రోగ్రామ్ చేసేటప్పుడు యూ షుడ్ డివైడ్. దేన్ని కంప్లీట్ హోల్‌లా చేస్తే మనకి మేబీ అర్థం అవ్వకపోవచ్చు ఆర్ అర్థమైనా అది మిస్‌అండర్‌స్టాండ్ అవ్వచ్చు ఆర్ వి మే బీ ఇన్ ద స్టేట్ with misconceptions, right? So when you are trying to solve a program or when you're trying to solve a problem statement, you should divide that. What are the things being asked? ఏం క్వశ్చన్ అడుగుతున్నాడు, దెన్ అసలు ఇన్పుట్ ఏమిస్తున్నాడు, what is the input that is being given, and then what is the output ఏమిస్తున్నాడు. That means you should link, you should divide and you should link. Okay, this is nothing but like we are dividing into modules or we are dividing into steps and then we are again packing those all. Okay, సో ఇట్లా చేసుకుంటే ఏమవుతుందంటే యూ కెన్ ఈజీలీ సాల్వ్ ఏ ప్రాబ్లమ్ స్టేట్మెంట్. మీ అప్రోచ్ కరెక్ట్ ఉంటుంది అండ్ వైల్ యూ ఆర్ డూయింగ్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ యూ విల్ కవర్ ఆల్ ద కాన్సెప్ట్స్, రైట్? ఓకే, కీప్ దీస్ థింగ్స్ ఇన్ మైండ్ and we'll start. I hope my voice is audible to the last and my screen is also visible. Yeah. First we will solve a question called rat count house. Okay. Then let's see what this question is. Here he has given the function accepts two positive integers. In the first word itself it is defining the function. You need to do whatever the solution you get in a function mode. Accepts two positive integers r and unit. So here you have to keep in mind that you have to take integers as input. If anyone is confusing, please note down my words. We have to take two positive integers, so the input whatever you are taking should be in a integer format. Those are r and unit. Okay, r and unit, and a positive integer array. A positive integer array, which means whatever the input you take, they all should be in an integer format, that too a positively, of array of size n. Size n means you have to dynamically take. Dynamic గా మీరు తీసుకోవాలి. If the size say 10 అనుకోండి, you have to take 10 elements into the array. If the size say 100 అనుకోండి, you have to take 100 elements as its arguments. R represent the number of rats present in an area. R ఏం రిప్రజెంట్ చేస్తుంది? It represents number of rats in an area. Suppose there are 14 rats present for 1 meter, 1000 rats present for 100 meters, like that. Unit is the amount of food each rat consumes. Okay, unit is the amount of food each rat consumes. Then please note down all this. And each element of array represents the amount of food present in I plus house number. Okay, each element represent amount of food house number, where 0 less than or equal to 1. Okay, note, return -1 if the array is null. You have to return -1 if the array is null. Here the array is nothing but మనం తీసుకునే ఎలిమెంట్స్. మనం ఏం ఎలిమెంట్స్ తీసుకోలేదంటే there is no possibility for us to calculate ఎంత ఫుడ్ తింటున్నాం ఆర్ ఎంత ఫుడ్ అవైలబుల్గా ఉంది అని మనకు తెలియదు. సో రిటర్న్ -1. రిటర్న్ 0 if the total amount of food from all houses is not sufficient for all the rats. Suppose there are 10 rats ఉన్నాయనుకుందాం. Each rat will consume 4 units. సో 10 rats ఉన్నాయి, ఒక్కొక్క rat 4 units తింటే how much total food we need? nothing but 10 into 4 40. Sorry for this. Then 40 is the total. మీకు కావాల్సింది ర్యాట్స్ అన్నీ తినగలిగేవి 40 యూనిట్స్ అనుకోండి. సపోజ్ మీరు తీసుకున్న అరే, దట్ మీన్స్ లిస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఎలిమెంట్స్, నథింగ్ బట్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ ఫుడ్ ప్రెజెంట్ ఇన్ ఈచ్ హౌస్ నెంబర్. సపోజ్ ఈ మనం అన్ని హౌసెస్లో ఉన్న ఫుడ్ని మొత్తం యాడ్ చేస్తే వి విల్ గెట్ ఎ నెంబర్. ఓకే, మనకు వచ్చిన నెంబర్ ర్యాట్స్ తినే ఫుడ్ కన్నా తక్కువ అయితే యూ కెనాట్ అకామిడేట్ ఆల్ ద ర్యాట్స్, రైట్? ఇస్ ఇట్ ట్రూ? సింపుల్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, మీ దగ్గర ఒక 2000 రూపీస్ ఉన్నాయి. యూ వెంట్ టు ఏ షాపింగ్ మాల్, దేర్ యూ హ్యావ్ సీన్ 4000 రూపీస్ షర్ట్. యూ కెనాట్ బై దట్ 4000 షర్ట్ విత్ 2000, రైట్? సో మనం చెక్ చేసుకోవాలి మన దగ్గర ఉన్నది ఎంత, దాని కాస్ట్ ఎంత. లైక్ ద సేమ్ ఇక్కడ మనం ఏం చెక్ చేస్తున్నామంటే వాట్ ఈస్ ద టోటల్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ ఫుడ్ వీఆర్ హ్యావింగ్, and that is being compared with what is the total amount of food that rats require. Okay, if the comparison is not valid, then you have to return 0. That means you cannot accommodate all the rats with the food you are having. Then if so, you are having enough amount of food to accommodate all the rats. That means అన్ని ర్యాట్స్ తినేయడానికి గలిగ ఫుడ్ మీ దగ్గర ఉంది అంటే you have to count how many houses, ఎన్ని హౌసెస్ లో ఉన్న ఫుడ్ తింటే ఇట్ ఈస్ సఫిషియంట్. ఓకే, దట్ ఈస్ ద ప్రోగ్రామ్. ఫస్ట్ కండిషన్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు సీ అసలు ఏమన్నా ఎలిమెంట్స్ ఉన్నాయా, నథింగ్ బట్ ఏమన్నా హౌసెస్ ఉన్నాయా లేదా. ఇఫ్ ద array is null, you have to return -1. Okay, then second, return 0 if the total amount of food from all houses is not sufficient for all the rats. You have to check. చెప్పా కదా ఎగ్జాంపుల్, షార్ట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, 4000 is the total cost but you are having only 2000. అలాగే ఇక్కడ కూడా చెక్ చేయాలి. You have to add all the array elements. You have to compare with the R into units. Then if that condition also fail, you have to check how many houses are sufficient. Here I am not telling how much amount of food required, I am telling how many houses are enough. Okay, then look at the input format. First input is an integer r, represents the number of rats present in an area. What is the r representing? Number of rats. Second input is an integer unit, that is amount of food each rat consumes. Suppose 4, that means each rat is eating 4 apples and we are having 10 rats. So each rat is eating 4 apples, then how many apples we need? Easy, right? R into number of units. 10 into 4 40. We need 40 or more than 40 apples. Third input is an integer n. Represents size of array. That means nothing but number of houses. A positive integer array separated by space. See, space separated array, you have to take whatever the input you take by using input function, it will be treated as a string. So to do this line, you should be familiar with map function and split functions. You have to split the input line with the spaces. Then constraints, 0 less than or less than some 10 lakhs or 10 crores. That means at least one rat and at most this number. Okay. Then each rat should consume less than 1000 or equal to 1000. Okay. Then we can have how many houses this yen? We can have 10 lakh houses. So output format is an integer represents amount of food in X houses is sufficient for all the rats. As I already said, you have to count number of houses, not the total food required. Okay. Then see the sample input very carefully and sample output. There are 7 rats. This 7 represents number of rats, and each rat eats suppose 2 apples. So 7 rats we are having, and they each rat eat 2 apples. So 7 into 2, what is the answer? 7 into 2, 14. Means 14 14 units of food is required for all the rats. Then 8. 8 is nothing but we are having 8 houses. Okay. Here each number represent amount of food that house has. Suppose house 1 has 2 apples, house 2 has 8 apples, house 3 has 3 apples, house 5 has 5 apples. We need to go and eat total food. Suppose rats go and eat 2 apples from house 1 and go and eat 8 apples in house 2. So till now how many apples were completed? 2 plus 8, 10. So we need 14 apples, but we ate only 10 apples. We are deficient with 4 more apples. Then again, rats has ate 3 apples. 10 plus 3, 13. Still one more is deficient. Then we'll go with house 4. How many apples are there? 5 apples. 13 plus 5, 18. 18 is greater than 14. Then there is no need to go for remaining houses. We can stop from the fourth house. That is the output. So what is the logic here is every time you have to check whether the apples you have already taken is greater than or not with r into units, that in 7 into 2, 14. First 2 greater than or equal to 14 we will check. Then 2 plus 8, 10 greater than or equal to 14 we will check. Then 10 plus 3, 13 greater than or equal to 14 we will check. Then 13 plus 5, 18 greater than or equal to 14 we will check. Then immediately we have to stop. Immediately we have to stop. Okay. So for that we will go with for loops, if conditions, and else and break statements. Is it clear till now? This 4 is the answer because we have taken food from house 1, house 2, house 3 and house 4. Total how many houses? 4 houses. That is the output. So, so see, that is the explanation he has given. Total amount of food required R into unit. That means 7 rats each consumes 2 units. That means 14. So the amount of food in first houses is equal to 2 plus 8 plus 3 plus 5, 18. Since amount of food in first 4 houses is sufficient for all the rats, that means 18 is probably greater than 14, right? So thus output is 4. Is it clear? I hope everyone is clear with this. So let us write. I am taking Python as the language because it will be very easy for us to understand and to write code. Okay, so I need to take an input. First, what is the first line of input? Number of rats. So number of rats is equal to, he already mentioned these are integers. So I'm converting the input into integers. I hope this line is clear. Then I need to take number of units. Units is equal to int of input. Okay. Then I need to take how many array elements. Number is equal to, then look at this very carefully. Array is equal to, I have taken first input. Okay. So the input line will be taken. Then I will split with, what is the separator he has mentioned? Space. Then I need these numbers as integer. So I'll use map function. So map, whatever the input you are taking, split that with space separator, the space separator, and map all those strings as integer. This is the functionality of map. Okay. Then I am taking this as a list. That is nothing but array. Then what I need to do, I need to count how many houses. I need to count how many houses. So I will take a dummy variable called count equal to 0. Okay. Then I need to check. I need to go and check in every house whether the food available in that house is enough for rats or not. So to go and check, I need to traverse. For traversing, I need this loop. This for loop is different from the range for loop. This is directly accessing elements from collections. Here the array is a list collection. So I'm using this for loop. So what I have told, each time I need to check the, I need to take another variables also. That means I need to, every time I need to keep track whether the food we have ate is greater than or equal to the rats into units. So I will take another variable called sum1 is equal to 0. Okay. I need to check this sum1 greater than or equal to rats into units. అంతే కదా, అంతేనే కదా. Sum1 0 greater than or equal to how many rats in first case? 7 into units 2. That is nothing but 0 greater than or equal to 14. Okay. ఒకవేళ 0 greater than 14 అయితే వాట్ ఐ నీడ్ టు డూ, నేను నెక్స్ట్ హౌస్కి వెళ్ళి ఫుడ్ తినాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు కదా. ఎందుకంటే నాకు కావాల్సిన ఫుడ్ కొన్ని సమ్ టైమ్స్ దానికన్నా కొంచెం ఎక్కువైన ఫుడ్ వచ్చిందనుకోండి, ఐ నీడ్ టు బ్రేక్, ఐ నీడ్ టు టేక్ ఎ బ్రేక్. ఒకవేళ ఇన్ కేస్ ఈ 0 అనేది 14 కన్నా గ్రేటర్ కాదు కాబట్టి ఐ షుడ్ గో ఫర్ ద నెక్స్ట్ హౌస్. Before going to next house, I have already visited one house, right? I need to count that house. So count is equal to count plus 1. And I need to keep track of how much amount is it. Then I will take sum1 is equal to sum1 plus I. When I have to do all this, if the if statement doesn't work, so I'll keep this entire thing in else block. Okay. Then after going, how many houses are required to add the amount of food, I will print the number of houses. I think everyone is clear with this. See, again I will make you understand. From line 7, please see. First, the array is like this. First, the array is like this. Is it? Then I am taking for I in ARR. That means for each iteration, I value will be equated for each element. Then I will check someone is greater than rats or not. What is the value someone? 0. 0 greater than or equal to 7 into 2. This is not true. False. Then the execution will go for the else block. Here what the count means, I have visited this 2, right? So I have visited one house. That means now count is equal to 1. And I am keep tracking how much food I have consumed. How much food? ఇప్పుడు వరకు rats ఎంత ఫుడ్ని తిన్నాయో ఐఎమ్ కీపింగ్ ట్రాక్ ఆఫ్ దట్. సో నౌ ద సమ్ వన్ వాల్యూ ఎంత అవుతుంది? What is the I value? 2. Sum one value would be 2. Next, now the I value will be 8 and the sum one value is 2. 2 greater than or equal to rats and units. False, right? Then this block. Now the count will be, I have visited 2 houses. The count will be 2 houses. And how much food now I have consumed? 2 plus 8, that is 10. Okay. Then again we'll compare with this 10. 10 greater than or equal to 14. False. Now the execution from else block. Now how many units, how many houses I will be visiting? 3 houses. And what is the amount present there? 3. So I have consumed 13 units. Still one unit is deficient, right? Then I will go with this one. This is how much? This is 13. 13. So 13 greater than or equal to 17, 14. False. Then I will come here. I will go to house number 4. That is this one. So the count will be 4. And what is the previous sum? 13. Then I will eat. There are 5 amounts. I will eat 1, but you need to add 5. That is nothing but how much amount is there in the house you will consume. So 13 plus 5 is 18. Now I will check whether this 18 is sufficient for me or not. So then 18 will be checked with 14. 18 is checked with 14. Is this condition true or false? True. Then what I have told you, when నీకు కావాల్సిన ఫుడ్ కన్నా నీకు ఇంకా ఎక్కువ ఫుడ్ ఉన్నప్పుడు యూ హ్యావ్ టు స్టాప్ ఇట్. అంతే కదా? వెన్ వీ గో టు ఎ రెస్టారెంట్ వీ విల్ ఈట్ హౌ మచ్ వీ క్యాన్. అంతకన్నా ఎక్కువ అయితే కూడా తినలేం కదా. సో లైక్ ద సేమ్ వేస్ ఇక్కడ యూ నీడ్ టు చెక్ ఈచ్ టైం. సో ఐఎమ్ బ్రేకింగ్ and I'm printing how many house are sufficient for rats to have the complete. Okay, then I will run. See, sorry, this is count variable name mistake. See, past. I hope everyone is clear. We will submit this also. See, everything is passed. All the test cases are passed. So I hope everyone understood with this explanation. Please note down. రాసుకుంటున్నారా? Let's move to the next question. Next question is decode binary expression. See, this question is somewhat like very interesting. The question is, the binary system only uses two digits 0 and 1. That's obvious. Binary numbers ఏమేమి ఉంటాయి? Zeros and ones. And number system can be called by binary string. And you are required to implement the following function. What the following function is? The function accepts a string as its argument. What is the input format here? That is string. The string consists of binary digits. That means string will be with combination of zeros and ones, separated with an alphabet. Suppose say you are having 1 and 0, 1 and 0. In between you will have an alphabet like A, B and C. What those A, B and C will stand for? A denotes and operation. A denotes and operation. Suppose you are having 1A 1. What it means? 1 and 1. Is it? Then B denotes OR operation. B denotes OR operation. 1 or B. Sorry, 1 or 1. Like that. Then C denote XOR operation. C denote XOR operation. What we need to do, you are required to calculate the result of the string. You are required to calculate the result of the string, scanning the string to write, taking one operation at a time. What you need to do, you only allowed to do one operation. Suppose the string is like 1C01A1. You need to do first 1C1, 1 XOR 1. Then with that result, you need to perform next operation. Like that, you need to pass. Then this question is asked on campus 2022. Then what is the input format? Input format is a string. Input format is a string. There are no order of priorities. Length of the string is odd. And in case you are not giving any string, that means you are giving empty string, then you have to return -1. And if you get any invalid alphabet like other than ABC, if you get D, E, F, Z, Y, like that also you have to return -1. So what is the output? Output is an integer representing result. We'll see sample input. Sample input is 1C0, C1C, 1A0, B1. That means 1 and 0, 1 XOR 0, XOR 1, XOR 1, and 0 or 1. This is how the string you need to convert. Then sample output is 1. See the explanation. The alphabets in string when expanded becomes 1 XOR 0, XOR 1, XOR 1, and 0 or 1. The result of this expression becomes 1. So the answer is 1. Is it clear? We'll have one string as an input. So this is a binary string. So we'll have only two numbers, 1 or 0. And in between each number, you'll have alphabets A, B, C. A represents AND operation, B represents OR operation, and C represents XOR operation. First, you need to do calculation on 1 XOR 0. You will get one result. Then with that result, you need to do this operation. That means result XOR 1. Then result XOR C. Then result and 0. Then result or 1. This is how you should traverse through the string, and you have to store the result. So let's see how we can do that. We are having this function. So here the string is the input. So we need to check if string is none or not. If it is none, what he has told? If it is null or none, return -1. So we will return -1. Then if the condition is false, then we have passed some string. So we need to do operations on that string. Before that, what I have told, we have to ప్రతిసారి మనం result ని we have to store. Then so the result is equal to str of 0. Okay. Then I need to traverse through the string not from the first. I will traverse from this. Okay. because I have already stored this number 1 as a result. So I will traverse from the second, this C. Okay. For that, I'm starting the value from 1 till where len of str. And here is the important step. You need to specify the step count. I am taking only the type of operations. I will traverse through only type of operations. And the operator next, this is nothing but if C is the I, then I plus 1 is 0. Okay. Then again, the for loop comes here. The I plus 1 is another operand. Right. I will check what kind of operation it is. I am taking the step value as 2. Next I am checking what kind of operation we need to perform. If the str of I, that is nothing but the alphabets. Okay, the alphabets. If the alphabet is A, what I need to do with the result? I need to do and write bitwise and with what? With what? I need to do str of I plus 1. Okay, this is string. I need to convert this. Okay, you can write like this, or you can write like operator is nothing but str of I. What is the operand? The next value is equal to int of str of I plus 1. You can write like this. If operand is equal to, so operator is equal to A, then what you need to do? You need to int of operand. We will do operations with operands only, right? So that's why I'm converting this integer and I'm doing AND operation with the operand and I'm storing the result. Then elif, what if the operator is B? What if the operator is B? What I need to do? I need to do OR operation with this operator. Is it clear what I'm typing? Then what if the operator is C? What if the operator is C? I need to perform XOR operation, right? Then I need to write cap symbol, that is XOR, and I need to store that with doing this operation. Operand. Sorry, this is also operand. I have already told, if you find anything other than ABC, return -1. Else, return the result. Okay, let's see from the first. Again, if the string is none, that means if the string is empty, you have to return -1. I am storing the first index position, that means 0th position element, as my result initially. Okay, then I'm traversing the kinds of operators we are having. From which position we are having operators? Every odd position, right? This is index 1, this is index 3, and this will be 5, this will be 7, and this will be 9. Is it? So I'm going and checking what kind of operators I have. So I will store that operator in a variable called operator. And operand is nothing but the beside value, right? The next value. So I'm taking that next value and I'm converting that into integer, because we can do these operations on integer, right? So that is stored in operand. If operator is A, what I need to do? I need to perform AND operation and storing that in the same variable result. If the operator is B, I need to do OR operation and I need to store that in the same result operator. If the operator is C, I will to perform XOR operation. If in any chance, if you get any other symbol like D, E, F or anything, you will immediately you will return -1. If after completing entire string, if it does not encounter any any other than ABC, it will return the result. It will return the result. Let's check. What is this? Can anyone tell me where we have done wrong? Sorry. We have already converted into integer, right? Yeah, I will show you. Yeah, you can check the same thing. Yeah. Previously, I have taken this as a just string. I need to change that. I forgot. You can see the remain everything is same. I hope all understood that. In previously, what we have done the mistake is we didn't convert this thing as an integer. That's why here it is doing some string with integer. We are doing string and operator with integer. That's why it is showing the error. Okay, you please take this. Okay, I hope everyone has noted that. Let's move to the next question. Mm, let's take this absolute difference. See, see this question. The function accepts an integer array. What the function accepts? An integer array. Its length on two integer variables, number and difference. We will get other two integer variables called num and difference. Implement the function to find and return number of elements of array having an absolute difference of less than or equal to difference with number. Okay, what it is we need to traverse for each and every element. We will check the number minus difference is less than or equal or not. We will go and check the number minus the variable num is less than or equal to difference or not. Clear? In case there is no element in array whose absolute difference with num is less than or equal to difference, then what you need to do? You need to return -1. Okay, you should return -1. The question is very simple, that you need to go ఒక్కొక్క ఎలిమెంట్ని తీసుకోవాలి. ఆ ఎలిమెంట్ ఏదైతే వచ్చిందో దానికి వాడిచ్చిన ఈ NUM అనే వేరియబుల్కి యూ నీడ్ టు ఫైండ్ absolute డిఫరెన్స్. ఆ absolute డిఫరెన్స్ గనక లెస్ దాన్ ఆర్ ఈక్వల్ టు డిఫరెన్స్ ఉందని అంటే యూ నీడ్ టు కౌంట్ దట్ నెంబర్. You need to count the number. Nothing but we will increment the count value with 1. We will check how many such numbers are there in this number array. We will check how many such numbers are there in this element array that their absolute difference with num variable is less than or equal with the variable difference. Okay, then if the condition is true, we will increment the counter value with 1. After completing the entire process, we will check whether there are any elements that satisfying the previous condition. If there are no elements, we will return -1. If there is at least one element, we will return the count value. Okay, I hope this is very clear. I think let's try to write the code. See, first input format. You need to check the input format. First line of input is an integer representing length of array. This is nothing but we will take how many array elements are there. Then second line of array of integer separated by space. As we done in the first program, we will take input and we'll separate them by space and we'll map it as an integer and convert into a list. See, the third and fourth are very important. Third line is an integer represents num. You need to do operation with this num variable only, not with the difference. You need to check with the difference, but you need to do operation with num. After doing the operation with num, you will check with the difference. We need to take the constraints, and the difference should always be 0 and 1000, in between 0 and 1000, and the number should be in between 0 and 1 lakh. The output format is, as already discussed, we will count how many numbers are there satisfying the condition. Okay, see, this is 6. There are 6 elements. Okay. The number is 13. The number is 13 and 2. The difference should not be more than 2. Okay. Let's check 12 minus 13. What is the absolute difference? 1. There is no count. 3 minus 13. The absolute difference will be 10. Then 14 minus 13. This will be 2. Like that, you need to check. Okay. See the explanation. Elements of array having absolute difference of less than or equal to difference. Less than or equal to, not equal to 2 with numbers 13 or 12 minus 13, 1 less than 2. 13 minus 13, 0 less than 2. And 14 minus 13, that is 1 less than 2. Right. We are having total 3 numbers. So let's write the code here. What are the parameters being passed in this function? N, that is number of array elements and the array, and the number variable and the difference variable for which we need to check. So we will take what we need to do. We need to count, right? We will take one counter variable. Then okay, my first task is done. Then I need to traverse through each element, right? So then, for better understanding, I will write as for element in what is the array? ARR. Correct? Then I need to check the absolute difference with this num variable, right? Absolute difference. I will take that. So absolute difference is equal to, what is the function we need to use for absolute? ABS. ABS of element minus which number? This num variable, right? This num. Then what I need to do? Then I need to check whether this absolute difference is less than or equal to this diff variable. I need to check whether this absolute difference is less than or equal to this differ variable. So for that I need to write like absolute, is it less than or equal to with the variable diff. What I need to do that after that, I need to count, right? How many numbers are there like that. So I'm taking this. This is nothing but like count is equal to count plus 1. Yeah. Okay. Let us check. Let us check. What are the elements we are having? What are the elements? These, right? 12, 3, 14. These are the elements, right? Control V. Okay. Then what is the num value he passed? 13. What is the difference he passed? 2. So what will be the first element? The first element will be 12. Absolute of 12 minus 13. This will be 1, right? Then we need to check that 1. Whether 1 is less than or equal to 2 or not. It's true. Then count will be from 0 to it will change as 1. Next, what is the I value now? The I value is 3. We need to check whether absolute of 3 minus 13 is 10. So this 10 is not less than or equal to 2, right? Then we don't need to count this. Then we need to check with 14. That is 1. So 1 less than or equal to 2. So the count from 1 to 2. Okay. Then 56 obvious. it will be more. 77 also, it will be more than 2. Then what is this? 13 minus 13, that is 0, right? Then we'll check that 0 is less than or equal to 2. True. So this 2 will become 3. So we are having count value. So we need to check, what if there is no element that satisfies the above condition? What I need to do? I need to return -1, right? So I will check if the count value is 0, means as it is, whatever we are initializing the count value, if that was the same, then what I need to do? I need to return -1. Else I need to return the count. You can also write like this directly, return count. Okay, is that clear, everyone? Let me run this. This is, there is runtime error name. Sorry, he has given some extra line. This undefined, we need to remove. Okay, everything is passed. Let me submit. Obviously everything will be passed. So please write it down. Please write down this. This is how you should approach each and every program. Like, what is the question being asked, and what is the input he is giving, and what is the output we need to get. So we need to take help of the explanation, so that you will clearly cultivate the notion of the question, so that it will be very easy for you to do any program. You should be syntactically right, and you should be have enough knowledge to understand what is going there, so that you can write the programming easily.